two different species can become friends. Before we move on to the next step, do like and subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos. The puppy was grabbed by a park employee and thrown into the lion's enclosure. The subsequent miracle that occurred astonished everyone. One of the rarest occurrences in history took place in Wynwood, a city in southern Oklahoma, which is home to an exotic animal park. A lion gave birth to a youngster in the untamed savanna, which is where this tale began. Although a healthy pregnancy and delivery are typically reasons to celebrate, this mother opted to abandon her child because she was dissatisfied with the way he was being raised. Unfortunately, the cub had osteoporosis from birth, which meant that its bones were brittle and that it would likely become weaker as it grew older. As soon as the infant was born, the mother felt this. The toughness of the wild was the primary factor in the lioness' decision to abandon her young. Even if it may not directly benefit us, we may have the resources and the capacity to care for others. Lions are no exception to the rule that animals are hardwired to seek out the strong and to leave or hunt the weak. In truth, lions are among the physically sturdiest wild animals that are often regarded as apex predators because of evolution. Although this mother chose a tough course of action, she undoubtedly thought it was the most forgiving. The staff at the exotic animal park disagreed with her, but they felt sorry for her poor cub. They took in the lonely lion, breaking their hearts to realize that the babyling was not only physically frail, but also suffering from emotional scars as a result of his mother's abandonment. Recent psychology research has demonstrated how crucial it is for infants to experience attachment with a primary caregiver. They will be negatively affected for the rest of their lives if they don't have this connection early in their development. These studies' findings have been demonstrated in both human and animal partnerships. This information was known to the staff at the exotic park. They were aware of the lion cub's urgent need for a maternal figure who could serve as his guardian and constant friend. Although a different lion would have been a better option, all of the lions that the park had taken in were unfit to serve as parents. Either they were too young or they had too many kids to take care of. Shortly after being adopted by the park, the lion was given the nickname Bone Digger. The young cub had been given his own cage so that when he was older, he would have room to wander. The workers watched the baby Bone Digger in his cage and came up with a plan. During a park, there was a dog that served as an emotional support animal for anyone in need, but wasn't owned by anyone in particular. Milo wasn't the kind to be aggressive or judgmental, despite the long-standing animosity between dogs and cats. Instead, the tiny dachshund had a heart of gold and was eager to assist anyone, regardless of their breed, because to his compassionate personality. The employees thought the dog would make the ideal companion for the Bone Diggers. By most people's standards, their idea was unusual, but these workers believed it would succeed. The proposal was audacious to say the least. There were numerous potential hazards or negative effects, but at the moment they had no other options. Thinking that this is the ideal decision, the workmen took the adorable ducks close to the enclosure housing the Bone Diggers. Before scooping up the dog and carrying him in his arms, one of the staff comforted Milo by patting his forepaw. This man opened the gate to the enclosure, tossed a little puppy inside the lion's cage, and then rapidly shut the door. What occurred next is horrifying. Milo needed to be thrown far enough so that the dog would be towards the center of the pen. Thankfully, the employee handled the dog with care. The small kid landed lightly as a result. All of the workers were silently watching as they stood near to the cage. They were wary about the lion's reaction to the ducks and wondered if their plan didn't work out, they would be extremely disappointed and would also have to care for the animals. Milo turned his head to look around his new environment. Since he was a shy person from infancy, Bone Digger hid when he heard his cage door open, when the small group noticed the strange animal standing in the center of his enclosure. He couldn't help but be curious. Bone Digger approached the dog with a few timid steps. The dachshund caught a glimpse of a lion cub that was about his size and weight. Emerging from the bushes out of the corner of his eye, Milo was absolutely calm despite most animals' natural inclination to flee when they saw a lion. He persisted, where he was awaiting the approach of the club. When Bone Digger was sufficiently close, Milo crouched down and began to sniff the lion. The lion initially seemed surprised since, aside from his mother, he had never been so near to another animal. Milo was the furthest thing from a threat, though, and Bone Digger could sense it, so he gave the dog a sniff of Milo as a token of peace. Soon after becoming comfortable with one another, since the dog and cat started playing together, Bone Digger sniffed a Milo back. They chased each other up and down the enclosure, leaped over obstacles, and gently shoved each other's flanks. These animals quickly grew close. The employees were happy to find that their plan had worked, my friends. As time passed, Milo visited Bone Digger's enclosure so frequently that it essentially became his new home. The dog and the lion developed a pattern together, eating raw meat together, brushing each other's teeth, and eventually sleeping next to each other, despite the fact that they were getting older and playing just as much as when they first met. Every time they were in a group, Bone Digger was able to ignore his illness. Because of that little puppy, the lion did not feel as though anything was missing from his life. After establishing trust with Milo for a long time, Bone Digger felt more confident to socialize with others. It appeared as though the lion liked to hang around with little dogs because Milo's companions, Bullet and Angel, were a couple of duck sons who also grew close to Bone Digger. Despite the fact that Bone Digger has numerous chances to make friends with other lions or wild cats, better, Bullet and Angel liked playing with Bone Digger and frequented his enclosure because of his young, jovial demeanor. Bone Digger was devoted to his first friend, though. Milo was more than just a friend to Bone Digger. No matter who else entered his life, the lion would never be able to replace the unique relationship he had with Milo. Milo reminded him more of his family. The employees allowed news reporters to see the miracle friendship. Millions of people all around the world spent a brief period of time watching or listening to stories about how a dog and a lion were able to develop an unbreakable friendship. Positive reactions to the story led to people spreading it on social media and among their friends. Numerous others expressed their love for dogs and joy over the lion in the comments section. Their narrative became well known both offline and online because of the special character of this bond. The desire to witness these two in person was widespread throughout the world. There is an exhibit that highlights their friendship at the exotic park, where the two are placed. Visitors join us to view the lion and the dog entertained by the impossible nature of their bond. The majority of people have never witnessed a dog and cat getting along, much less a little dog and one of the biggest cats on earth. When thinking about the two creatures, one of the park's employees claimed that this bond between a 500-pound, 225-kilogram lion and an 11-pound, 5-kilogram wiener dog is the only one of its kind in the entire world. A prime example of not making snap judgments based on appearance is Milo and Bone Digger. Despite the fact that they are of different species, they look beyond petty rivalries and the obvious. The lion has given the Dachshund a lifetime's worth of pleasant memories because Milo was there for Bone Digger in the lion's most vulnerable moments. That's all for today's video. I hope that this video is helpful for you. So do like and subscribe to our channel for more informative videos, and share your ideas in comment section.